Yeah, we're recording.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Erin, would you like to introduce us?
Oh.
Are we going to be official?
I'm going to try to actually get an intro at the beginning of this episode.
Oh. But don't forget. What? Why is your phone talking to you?
It's getting angry because you're
just
talking
making
about
calls.
it spying on us.
And pocket dialing everything. I cannot hold this because I will play with it through the whole thing. But we have to make sure we remember that Elsa's doing the embarrassing moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So glad you
Yes.
remember that.
Finally wasn't me this
I'm
week.
so sorry if I smell like sweat, you guys.
I haven't been
The
telling
listeners
you,
can't
but
smell.
I will try to. Okay.
Okay, we should probably start by introducing the podcast, and then Elsa goes into her embarrassing moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Erin's playing Wizards Unite.
Sorry. I just realized it doesn't let you paste into there, which is really stupid.
Yes, it does. My phone did.
Oh, well, here's his fancy gaming phone.
Okay.
This is Princess and Another Podcast.
Good job, Erin. And who are you?
My name is Erin.
I'm Lane.
I'm Jensen.
I'm Elsa, and I have a really embarrassing story to share to start off. I don't actually remember what it was. I just remember it was bad. What did I do?
You bit into
Oh!
Alka-Seltzer.
That's right. That's right. So I was trying to take a couple of Alka-Seltzer from my tummy, but I was trying to put it in a water bottle, and it was a bit too wide to go into the water bottle neck. So I was like, well, I'll break it in half with my teeth. And
And for some reason, Elsa forgot that Alka-Seltzer reacts with anything that is liquid.
I just,
She forgot that her teeth have saliva on them all the time because they are in her mouth.
I realized that I'd made a mistake
Lady
the instant that
explains the joke.
For your information, saliva is in your mouth.
That's science, baby.
I did it. So basically, I bit into this thing and then immediately started screaming.
And we all just sat there watching in amazement. Just like, how did you not realize that was gonna happen?
I thought about it but it was too late. My reflexes were already I was already doing it.
Elsa's just foaming at the mouth and screaming on the couch.
That was exactly how it happened.
So Erin, what are you playing right now?
So I just started Red Dead Redemption 2 again after 6 months because I got distracted by other games.
We got to watch you make some questionable decisions today.
And take a bath for the first time.
Yes! It explains why everyone was talking to me like I was some kind of animal.
You smelled like
because
one.
I skinned one.
You skinned one. You were covered in its blood. You hadn't taken a bath for the entire game, and you murdered an entire town of people.
That one was not my choice. That was stupid Micah, and if it had been my choice, I would have shot him, but he's like a story mission, so I had to go with it, and it was the worst. It was stupid.
Yeah. Shoot that guy.
Yeah.
I would have failed that quest so many times, just shooting him in the head.
Right. Definitely. But I did one of the weirdest side quests last night. It was the prelude to that mission. This guy comes into your camp and he's freaking out. He's like, they've got Micah, they're gonna hang him. And you're like, okay, come with me. And you go into the town and you're like, all right, we're just gonna have a couple of drinks, get your mind off of Micah for a bit. And then you drink a ton.
Nice.
And you get to play as drunk Arthur, and it's so weird. And you keep losing your friend, and everyone starts to look like him, and you're going around asking people are you Lenny? It was so weird.
It's before the Find Your Homie app.
Yeah.
So.
And then you go home nothing happened, and then you can go rescue Micah whenever you want. I was like, wait, what? It was super weird, super surreal. But yeah, I've been playing Beat Saber, and guys, I beat Pop Stars on Expert last night.
Woo! Good job.
Finally! I did it my first go, too. I did a warm up on hard, and then I went to expert, and I just did it, and it was amazing. I'm so proud of myself.
So bad at that game.
As well.
It only took me about 100 tries, over a few weeks. Dr. Mario World for iPhone has been super fun. Really challenging though, and pretty infuriating at times. Especially when I rotate a capsule the wrong way, or 2 or 3, because the first one made me freak out, and then I have a giant mess of colors I have to fix, and I run out of capsules and have to start the level all over again, and it's the worst, but I love it. It's a little different than the original Dr. Mario, but I actually like it better. And if you played Dr. Mario, it was on Game Boy and NES, but we had one of those special Super Game Boy cartridges that we put in our Super Nintendo. So that's how I played Dr. Mario. It was pretty nifty.
Is it on Nintendo Switch Online also?
It might be. Yeah, I think it is.
I've never actually played it because I know it's a lot like Tetris.
Yeah.
And I am horrendous
Yeah.
at Tetris.
Yeah. For some reason, I was way better at Dr. Mario than I was at Tetris. And I love the one for your phone even more because it's not like Tetris at all. You can take more time and yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been playing.
I am still playing Dragon Age. I imagine I'll probably still be playing Dragon Age for a while.
Probably for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's a very long game.
I
I'm
think
at
the
the
fastest
circle.
it ever took me was like 45 hours.
Yeah, and we fully expect you to play all the DLC as well. So
Probably.
tack on another 40 hours.
So right now I'm at the Circle Tower, and I'm
As if
just
you're slow.
I'm having fun. I'm having fun being able to shapeshift now. So hopefully that's something that me and Morgan can bond over because she doesn't like me much right now.
Elsa and I are the few people in the world who actually like the Circle Tower.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
So-
I didn't know that it was a dislike level.
Everyone
All
always
of the
hates on
levels
that
are
one.
disliked.
I mean, yeah, the whole game is kind of boring and dumb while also being amazing.
It's like
But
a gigantic joke within the fandom that it's like, wow, I hate Lothering, I hate Redcliffe, I hate the Circle Tower, I hate the Brazilian Forest, and I hate Orzammar, I hate Denerim. What part do I actually like about this game?
Alistair,
Alistair, the
and
answer
Morgan,
is, the
and
answer
Liliana.
is your
'Cause
companions.
everyone's okay, I guess.
They're fine.
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying it
Yeah.
a lot.
Well,
Good.
I really genuinely love the Circle Tower. I can say that about a lot of the others. I'm like, oh, I hate Orzammar. I hate the Urn of Sacred Ashes, But I really love the Circle Tower.
I've heard about the Urn of Sacred Ashes a couple of times, and it's getting to the point now where I don't know what it is, and people keep bringing it up, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, shut up! I don't care.
It's certainly a time.
It's just that it's one of those BioWare black and white morality kind of things, and that's what I don't like about
Really?
it.
Yeah.
Because the
It's
lead up to it is kind of fun. When you get to Haven,
where it's like,
Haven's
I'm
kind of
giving you a
interesting.
choice.
Yeah.
You can either buy this child ice cream or murder a puppy.
Yeah,
Like that.
exactly.
It's exactly that.
But
okay.
the lead up, when you're in Haven, the village beforehand, it's
So
really
cool.
interesting and creepy.
It's got that same element of that morbid fascination of cults.
Yeah.
And it's really creepy and I love it.
Yeah.
The lead up in Haven is so creepy. And the best part is that in Inquisition you start out in Haven, the village is rebuilt and there are people
Yeah.
in it again.
But then
Aren't
it becomes the black and white morality.
Yeah.
So you have that to look forward to. It's a little bit annoying.
Okay, well, in addition to that, I also beat Spider-Man and I platinumed it on New Game.
Yay! Good job.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Erin, I want you to tell me because I feel like you told me a story once where you once had a mentor who turned on you because he had nanotech or neurotech installed in his brain. So how did that go? I mean, you and Peter can relate to each other, right?
Yeah. I gave this guy my all. He took me in when I had nowhere else to go, and he decided to take science a little too far, and it messed up his brain, and I had to straight up kill him.
I mean, it's just a bummer.
It is. But what can you do,
I don't know what's happening right now.
It's just a huge
And
bummer.
literally all I thought was, Aaron, what is your tragic backstory? Trademark. Holy crap, why didn't I know this about you? And then I was like, wait.
She hasn't played Spider-Man yet. She's
She's
no
doing a
idea what we're
bit.
talking about.
She's doing a bit.
I'm just talking about the ways that Aaron and Peter Parker are very similar people.
Yeah, that makes me feel like Erin had a mentor turn on her because her previous mentor got killed, and she's been constantly trying to find a new mentor that won't die or turn on her.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Aaron's over here like having a coughing fit.
I
She's
just
just gonna like
like spit.
she's just gonna like pass out.
The story of Peter Parker's life, but also we can all relate. We've all had that mentor we've had to murder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
after they
I've had
get
like
killed.
5, you know.
Yeah.
And that uncle who got killed because we let a robber go.
Yeah.
Because we were feeling spiteful.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Uncle Davy.
Davy. No one has an Uncle Davy. Should have at least went with Uncle Dan or Jeff.
Well, we actually have an Uncle Dan.
Yeah, that's the joke. Everyone has an Uncle Dan.
I know, but like that's weird because
I
he's
do not.
And an Aunt Sarah.
That's true.
I have a cousin,
Yeah.
Sarah.
That's close.
Well, somebody
I
has an
have
Aunt Sarah. in
Aunt
that family.
Susie.
Oh, Aunt Susie.
Oh.
Mom is an Aunt Susie, technically.
Yes, and an Aunt Lenore.
And an Aunt Lenore. She goes by Susan or Lenore. technically.
Susan?
Anyway,
Susan her middle name?
Yeah.
Susan's
Yeah,
her
no,
first
Susan's
name.
her first name.
No,
What?
Susan's
She
her
goes
first
by
name.
her middle name.
there were like 4
Wow.
other Susans in her class when she was little, so she started going by her middle name and just
And
never stopped.
when we're around
Huh.
people who like knew her growing up, it's about a 50-50 chance they're either going to call her Susan or Lenore.
Mm.
But they.
And she answers to both.
I
so.
feel like she goes by Susie sometimes. People
Yeah,
call her
Susie.
Susie.
Some
And
people
Nora
call her
Nora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah,
And she is a woman of 1,000 names.
yeah, she's a woman of many names.
Anyway, but I did play 2 other games in the meantime. Spider-Man took up a lot of time because it's a huge checklist game, and Dragon Age took up a long time because it's the longest thing ever written.
And you're only
And-
like a 15th through the game.
I know. But I also played some Sekiro. I'm having a lot of fun. I kind of got to the point in the game where I can't move forward until I beat the Guardian Ape. And everybody done lied to me. I was dreading the Guardian Ape fight because everybody's like, oh, it's so hard. And I didn't know anything about it besides that apparently it's so hard. And then I threw myself at it, like not really knowing what to expect, just to kind of see. I think I had really low health and everything. Like I was just kind of gonna like study his moveset and run around. And like, so I got killed, you know, probably 20 seconds in, just sort of watching him and just being like, okay, so this is the kind of fight where I'm going to have to do a lot of running. And then I went in for my second run and I actually tried, and I got, I got halfway through his second phase, and it's really not that bad of a battle, but it's a fun battle. Like, I get why people talk about it a lot, because it's just, there's so much to it. It's like 2 completely different fights between the phases, and they're both really fun. Like, the first one's not that hard. You kind of just have to learn his moveset, and like he's throwing his poo at you and he's farting and like
Oh man, fart AoE attack.
It's so fun.
The
it's so much fun.
Lainey's trying to think of her joke. She
Bad
can't think
Hair
of it.
Day. The Bad Hair Day boss, the infamous one that's literally just a pile of poo that sings at you.
Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah.
The
No.
pile of poo.
The pile
Somehow,
of poo.
no, that's the thing that's remarkable is the Guardian Ape manages to be the height of dignity, even when he's like
While
throwing,
hucking poo at you.
he's like pooing into his hand behind his back, and then he launches it at you. And I hit something. I'm sorry.
It's for dramatic effect.
It's like, and it's somehow great. I don't know, like it's just really fun.
Ew.
And like, you guys, I love this fight. It's so fun. The second phase is so fun. It's like, oh man.
It doesn't
Anyway,
sound fun, Elsa.
it's really playing with the themes of immortality. Like this is the game,
And
this is the game that's all about and poo.
Playing with poo as well.
You know, I can say that checks out, you know?
Yeah.
What is the meaning
Immortality,
of anything? Immortality.
poo, same thing.
It's the same thing. Both have a lot to do with life.
They never end.
Well, there's always more poo.
It is 2019 and
Okay.
Aaron has declared that the poo is never ending.
Okay, but I just had a thought, and it's a major tangent, but I'll go quick.
Okay, go.
I
for it.
just had the thought. Isn't poo really tied to immortality? Because did Edward Cullen poo? Do we know? Do
the
vampires poo? Do any vampires poo.
Yeah, they poo a giant pile of sparkles.
Yes, and it also
I was
is purple,
hoping you
yeah.
would say
Do they have a
something like that.
bathroom? That's a good question. Do the Cullens have a bathroom?
Yes.
They do.
They have
For
a bathroom, so
appearance.
they must. They
But
must.
is it because the house was built with one?
No.
And also to keep up appearances because sometimes they
That's
entertain
right.
humans.
That's right.
Yeah, but they also have
Not
a
very
mural of
often.
all their graduation caps, so we know they don't do that well about hiding
No,
themselves.
but in the book, yes, I'm outing myself right now. I read it in the book.
We've all read it, Lainey, and I read the gender bent version.
I read it in French.
Nerd. But in the book, I'm the one who read it most recently.
No,
I read it in 2019.
Okay.
Jensen.
we read it the same time,
It's
but
the
you
Twilight Renaissance, and
you
the
did
fandom is alive
continue.
and well.
did continue reading when I stopped.
Okay, but in the book, when Edward and Bella go to the house or whatever for Italian food, because her name's Bella or whatever the hell is going on. Okay, sorry.
That part makes me furious.
It's
Why
so
couldn't
dumb.
she just eat some more food?
It's true.
Like,
Why wouldn't you just eat Italian
just
food
eat
because
a
it's
little bit of
delicious?
Italian food, but
I know.
whatever. Also,
Ugh.
vampire Italian food? Come on.
You can't add garlic.
Maybe they put a little bit of garlic in. Also, the
Wait, we
garlic
don't
thing
know.
doesn't work on those vampires.
Wait a second. But are the Twilight vampires affected
No,
by garlic?
they're not.
They're
They're not.
not.
Because
They're not.
they
It's
live by
confirmed in the book.
completely
It's
different
confirmed in the
rules.
book. They're not affected by garlic. The only
It's
thing.
confirmed in the book?
Yeah.
Yes, it's confirmed in the book. They're not affected by garlic. They can see their reflections, like all that
Show them
that random
pictures.
stuff. Yeah, but the
I guess there's that one picture that in the second movie where she cuts herself out of it. I'm sorry. Sometimes I do it just because it annoys you. I will stop. He's like hyperventilating. Okay.
The Cullens home is filled with windows, and when Edward and Bella are there, he's like, "What?" And you were expecting.
What and stuff?
Were you expecting a dungeon? And she's like, "No, it's just so light and open."
Why is Lenny recapping Twilight right now?
This is a tangent that really got away from us.
Like a Pillsbury crescent roll.
You could do videos of books you remember.
But
Yes!
But he says,
I suck at remembering.
Twilight. Edward says, "This is the only place we don't need to hide." So they don't entertain humans there. They have the windows open so sunlight doesn't matter if they're in sunlight or whatever.
Yes, but they
True.
still need a bathroom.
But-
Because where else are they going to dispose of all the goldfish? Like, I imagine.
So what if that's the only reason
Elsa,
they have a
ask
bathroom?
a real question.
Is so that they can flush their goldfish?
Well, I imagine.
Okay,
Like, they're all. To get back to my point about the Guardian 8 battle, they're all like tortured by their immortality, and I imagine the best way to deal with that, like if I was a therapist and I had a bunch of vampires coming to me complaining about how they're gonna live forever, I would tell them first of all to fling their poo at things, and second of all that they probably need to go ahead and like keep goldfish and just watch them die over and over again and contemplate eternity.
Oh my gosh! Why goldfish?
Wait, full circle.
I just had a mental image of Bella looking at the big picture of all of the graduating caps, and then she leans forward and sniffs it and is like, why does it smell like food? And Edward's like, no reason. And then you have a flashback to him painting the graduating caps.
We're having all this. It's terrible.
Horrible.
Throwing their poo while they throw their graduation cap.
You see a couple caps fly up, and then people.
Okay, but serious answer, I don't think the vampires from Twilight poo because they can't digest food.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but what do they do with the blood? What do they, like, how do they excrete? Do they
I think it gets
doesn't make
absorbed.
Makes them more powerful.
It
Do
gets
they all just pee it out? Do they only pee?
It gets absorbed into their rock skin.
They're like really efficient at using
They're like
every part
porcelain.
of the blood.
Come on,
Okay.
Jensen.
They're like white blood cells are for this.
It's
the red
marble.
Blood cells are
It's
for
not
that. I've
porcelain.
forgotten the other parts
Whatever.
of blood.
There's a
Maybe
big
it's marble in the gender
difference.
bent version. Nerd.
Lady, there's a big difference between marble and porcelain. Marble is harder to break.
But it looks like porcelain in the movie.
Yeah, but porcelain you can break by throwing it on the ground. Marble, it might not break.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that.
Oh wait, did she describe it like granite? It doesn't matter!
Save it for the video, Jensen.
It
Okay.
doesn't matter. Anyway, getting back to the Guardian Ape battle, my question was, Lainey, how are you handling the curse of immortality?
Obviously not well.
She's still trying to figure out if she can poo or not.
Well, the Guardian Ape can, and he's immortal, which you find out when you beat the first phase of his battle by cutting his head all the way off. And then the second battle, he now has a sword because you freed it from his neck where you cut the head off. So he's got a sword in one hand and his head in the other hand. And his fighting style changes completely and it's awesome.
You know, I feel like the Guardian Ape really has it figured out.
Right?
You know, he's free with himself.
Well, and his whole
That's
goal...
something I'll ever have.
I was reading about the lore.
Figured out.
I was reading about the lore, and the reason you find him in the place that you do is because this is a place for him to find a mate. So he really has it figured out.
Is he trying to mate with you?
No, he's trying to get out there.
Another
Oh,
tangent.
poop flinging!
You find out later that was like a big monkey dance, and all the monkeys show up to like dance to music and like hook up and stuff. It's like you just killed one of them right there.
You are ruining this beautiful story.
Can I just
I'm
say?
sorry.
Can I just say? He really does have it figured out because he's free with himself specifically around the people he's trying to impress and mate with. That is just something humans will never get.
He's not afraid to be out there missing his head.
And farting
I
everywhere.
really think that this fight is just a mating dance.
No, he's not trying to mate with you. He's trying to mate with another monkey. Because he finds one later.
Maybe he
Spoiler
thinks-
alert.
Oh!
Maybe he thinks that Sekiro is a monkey.
Anyway, I
Is
read
the
about
other
lore.
monkey as self-actualized as he is?
She's huge. I read the lore and I was like, oh, that's cool. And like I said, I kind of pushed the map out to its limits where I'm at. I really have to beat the Guardian Ape in order to move on with the rest of the game. I really put it off. And so I've already gotten to the part where you find a great big monkey skeleton, and it's like probably one of his kind, you know, maybe even his first mate who's dead.
Oh.
I know, right?
Well, we don't have time to
Dead
unpack
from
all of
mysterious
that.
From mysterious circumstances. It's always the husband. And then the other game that I played, yes, there's one more. I'm sorry, but in my defense, most of this has been you guys.
We took it out of your hands completely.
I'm sorry. I just really had to recount Twilight.
I understand, it's important. So the last game that I played Inside on the Switch, and it's really, really fun. It's a nice spooky game, but it's not really survival horror. It's a puzzle game. It's definitely got some make you jump moments and some kind of scary stuff. And he dies horrifically when he does die. But everything, and like for a while there I was a little frustrated because there was a couple of puzzles, and in my head I was like, oh man, I really prefer it when they give me puzzles and not when they're doing like timed challenges. But I started to figure out that there's no real timed challenge anywhere in that game. Some of them are disguised as time challenges, but they're really puzzles. Like, for example, there's one part where you're running from a dog, and the dog is much faster than you. And so if I'm being dumb, I'm just going to try to outrun the dog. But if I'm recognizing that this is a puzzle game and that I can't run the dog by design, then I have to try to lead it in places where it's going to get trapped or where it's going to have to take a longer way around so that I can get to safety. So it becomes a puzzle where it's like, oh no, I can't just leap over this wall. I have to lead the dog over here so that it can get stuck behind this fence, and then I can go leap over the wall. And like, it kind of all turns into this nice little puzzlescape. And it's really fun. I'm close to being finished. The only reason I didn't end up beating it in one sitting was because my Switch battery died partway through. And I was like, oh, I guess I better plug it in. But like, it's fun. There's a lot of cool mind control stuff. I think Lainey in particular would probably like this one, is the sense that I get. And we'd probably be amused watching her because she will run into 1 or 2 puzzles that will make her scream
Nice.
louder than anything on the planet.
I have it on Xbox as well.
And it all features this sort of scary
Oh, boy.
totalitarian future. So, and it's definitely completely accurate. Like, this is what the world's going to be like in 5 years. Are you looking forward to that, Jensen?
5 years.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It seems like a pretty nice place, especially all the Eldritch abominations running around. I know you
Yeah.
get chased
Well,
by
like,
one at one point.
You know,
And
at least something's happening. And
Yeah.
it's not a
Actually-
bunch of weebs storming Area 50.
I feel like we could be friends.
You and the Eldritch Abominations?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Either that or I'll just get eaten. I mean, I don't know.
At one point, a pig that's all riddled with worms, because there's pig corpses everywhere. And at one
Aw.
point, one of them gets up and just charges you.
Is he okay?
Wait.
No. No, he is
Lady,
not.
is he okay?
Remember Scary Movie 3 when she sees the girl? Are
Wait,
you
is
okay?
it Sydney?
Are
Yes.
you okay?
Who was it on
You okay?
PlayStation
Her head
Access?
falls
She's like,
off. Are you okay?
Who was it on PlayStation Access who talked about the underwater, the depths bit with
I
the
think it was Rob. Is that the part where the Eldritch Abomination comes in?
probably? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. To be
There's
honest.
like, I've seen several. I know there's one
Yeah.
that's like a big roly-poly
No,
with arms.
don't tell me about that one. I know that, but I don't know the context of it.
I don't either. All I know is that it
because I think
appears.
that's an end game.
All I know is that it appears. And then there's one that chases you when you're underwater.
Yeah,
And-
it's this mysterious. It just looks like
I
a
really-
girl with hair that's longer
yeah.
than her body.
I really just I
Yeah.
don't know that much about the game.
It's either
All I know
Rob or
is that
me.
there are monsters that chase you at
Yeah,
certain
it's
points.
a chase game. Like
Yeah.
from the very
Oh, no.
beginning, you've got things chasing you, and you're
See,
See,
thinking,
I
you
can't
know,
do
how-
that. Chase games really,
I hate being
really
chased.
kill me.
It's a lot of chasing and a lot of running.
You should play Outlast.
And
Just kidding.
you're just a weak little kid. You can't fight anything. You
No,
have to
I-
hide or run.
Watching Markiplier play through so many horror games has made me realize I cannot do chasing games. Because every time he was doing something where like a section where he just had to run and get as fast, like go as fast as he can and like not make any sort of mistakes, I was just like,
Apparently, I'm very good at that. As we
Yeah.
learned from me playing Outlast.
Maybe you
Whistleblower.
should play Inside then.
yeah,
Maybe Lainey shouldn't.
that's better. I agree.
I still am absolutely terrified of all horror games, but now at least I know that I do okay with them.
Well, worst case scenario with this one, you get crushed on the ground when you land,
and I
wrong,
scream a lot.
And you no, you wouldn't. Well, you would scream.
I
The-
would scream.
The little boy makes
No, the
very.
little boy's gonna be calmer than I ever
The little
will
boy's
be.
very calm. It's a pretty quiet game actually. And the little boy's very calm, even when he's being like ripped apart by dogs and stuff.
You know, that's how I want to go. Calmly ripped apart by dogs. At least something's happening, you know?
Jensen, what are you playing?
Well, I finished Prey. Oh man, Prey, you guys, you should all play Prey. It's really good. My predictions were somehow both correct and incorrect, which made me really happy because I actually came up with my theory for what was going on, like 3 hours into the game, and I was like, oh, that would be really cool, but I also kind of hope I'm wrong because I guessed it 3 hours into the game. But I was both right and wrong, so that was nice. But I definitely think you all should play it. Lainey's already told me that she doesn't want to play it because she doesn't like the inventory system. Which is the lamest reason to
Doesn't
not
look-
play a game.
Okay, can I just say there are many a game where like I saw the inventory system and I went, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to play that." And there are games that I experienced the inventory section and I was like, "Whoa, I know why I don't like this."
Okay, well, I feel like the overall gameplay and the story are really fun enough that you should be able to just get past it. Just play it on super easy. There's story mode. All right, her response is a cough, so I guess I'll move on. I expect at least Elsa will listen to me and play it. Maybe Aaron will listen to me and play it too. It's only a tiny bit scary.
I'm
I've
not
wanted to
worried
play
about
it
it being
since it came
scary.
out.
Less than BioShock, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I did. I said last time that I was going to play BioShock on hard. I started it. BioShock on hard is very hard.
Yes.
And I can do it. I know I can do it. But I don't really want to sit down and just do it all in one go. So I'm spacing it out. I'm taking it a little bit at a time because it's kind of it's quite exhausting. I die a lot more. Well, like I haven't been able to actually die because I have to beat it without using a Vita chamber. But like I end up going through like health things a lot, and it's kind of frustrating. Yeah, it's a bit tedious, so I'm taking it slow. But I did start a new playthrough of Dragon Age Origins with Lainey.
We got jealous of Elsa.
Yeah, we got really jealous of Elsa. So we started playing it on hard. Never played it on hard before. I'm actually finding that it's not really much of a difficulty spike. I feel like casual to normal was like a crazy difficulty spike. Like we were just in casual, I barely ever used potions. Like forgot that I had potions, and I never had the like quick health thingy in my.
In casual, you could fall asleep during a boss battle.
Oh yeah, literally I have. But I literally have fallen asleep playing Dragon Age and woken up to find out that I cleared out a room. But on normal, we were suddenly just like chugging health potions constantly.
Like shots.
Yeah,
like
shots. Yeah. And like Tic Tacs. But on hard, it feels easier than normal.
Okay, and I think I only think the difference between normal and hard is that hard enables friendly fire at half damage.
Yeah.
And normal has no friendly fire.
Yeah, and that is becoming a pain. I accidentally killed everyone in my group a couple of times. I like took control of, I think I took control of Morrigan at one part to like kill off a bunch of enemies in the circle tower, and I accidentally killed everyone else in the team.
I've been pretty good about it. However, I have cast a fireball a couple times with me like in the middle of it.
Oh yeah.
And that makes me go flying, but when I'm playing as the Burning Man, I don't.
Oh yeah,
take
I
any
did
damage.
that a ton as the Burning Man, but yeah, you don't take any damage, but you do get knocked backwards. But I'm like, whatever, it's worth it. But this time, it's the first time I've ever played as a Dwarven Noble, so that's really fun. It's a new experience. And then I also started playing Elder Scrolls Blades because I got a fancy new phone and I finally can play it. And I have notes. Though, overall, I'm really enjoying it. But, yeah, I am running into some things that I'm like, okay, that's really, really annoying. The chest system, I've heard a lot of people complain about, like, the chests and how you have to wait for, like, hours to open them and they stack up. And I feel like I understand where they're coming from because the chests are kind of annoying that like you have to wait an hour for a silver one to open and 6 hours for a gold one to open. But also I've heard people say, you know, I just had so many stacked up that I just had to spend money to open them. And I'm like, I don't think you're as committed to not spending money on a thing as I am. Mm-hmm. Because I have been very committed, like setting hourly alarms to like go and open the silver things so that I can be like, no, I'm not spending any money in this and I'm going to get all the things I can.
They've just never been broke enough.
I know. They've never been broke enough. Exactly.
Guys, y'all have never been broke enough and it really shows.
I know.
Either that or they're just really unwise with their money. Like we know someone who has spent thousands of dollars on one of those mobile games with microtransactions.
How? I look at the like store things and whenever they have the like, here's the $99 purchase, I'm always like, never in a million years. I don't care how rich I am. I'm not spending $99 in one go on a mobile game.
I'll say I do every so often I get really tempted to like spend actual money to get some coins for the Arcana. But then I remind myself, no, you don't need extra coins. You get like 65 per day. You're gonna be fine. Like you just have to wait a couple more days. Yeah. And then my little Ida's like, no, wait. What's now?
I know, like you can get free gems, and the gems you can use to like buy things from the store. You get a couple free gems a day.
Yeah.
If I just keep saving them up, right now I have like 250. I just keep saving them up. Eventually I can buy myself something cool. It's like
you just have to hoard it like a dragon.
Yeah, I do the same thing with Microsoft Rewards, and that's how I pay for all my DLCs. I get $5 from Microsoft like a month, and then I save it all up and I buy DLC with it. But anyway, slight tangent.
Slight tangent.
Some of my problems with blades, they've actually seemed to have fixed in the most recent update. I used to have a lot of problem with it, like if I was holding it in landscape mode and using the virtual joysticks, it would sometimes mistake my left hand for my right hand and start moving my character's head instead of moving where they were going. And that was really annoying, but they've like put in a what's it called? A new option in the settings, and I was able to turn that off, and now it doesn't do it anymore. I don't know why that was a feature in the settings, but it was, and now it's gone. And then my other big complaint was that the initial loading time it used to be just crazy long. Like, I would turn on the thing and then put it down for a couple minutes and come back just in time to see it finish loading. But now it's really, really fast. It takes like 30 seconds. So that's nice. And then my last big problem with it is just that, oh my gosh, like, this game makes Dragon Age 2's settings look super diverse. It's like reusing maps like nobody's business. I think there are only 4 maps. I really do. And they have the same items in the same places.
Man,
I'm starting to memorize.
Look alike.
Like, the only thing that changes is like the enemy placement and where chests are located. But like, the secret areas are all in the exact same spot. The food is all in the exact same spot. There's this one place where I always know, I'm always like, oh, there's that sweet roll again. It's right there.
No one's stolen it yet.
Yeah, no one's stolen my sweet roll. And then there's another place where I'm like, oh, this is the end of the cave that has the leak on the ground. Okay. Now I know which side of the cave I'm on.
I just thought of selecting a bagel.
Yes. But yeah, so it's still got some problems, but it is in early access. So I like that when they did this most recent update, they seem to have fixed a lot of things that I was struggling with. So I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. You know, I think it could improve a lot by the time they put it out. I'm cautiously optimistic.
So I am ashamed to say that I am in the same exact place I was the last time we recorded with Assassin's Creed 3, because I'm a big liar and a coward. But I did start. Yes, I am dumb and a coward, and I look like Chicken Little. This is what my life has become. But I did start playing Dragon Age on hard. And I'm very excited to keep going with that. I'm playing as an elven mage, and I'm very excited to romance Leliana. And
for the first time ever, right?
Yes, it's my first time romancing Leliana, and yeah, I'm just really
Leliana's
excited.
Great. I don't know how it's taken you this long.
She's so sweet. I don't know. It's just like I really like Morgan, and Alistair is very charming. So.
Okay, I'll give you that. Morgan is really fun to romance.
I don't know. I think it was just that Leliana's church vibes always kind of like,
Yeah, it's a little bit, she's quite churchy. But she's also really fun, and her accent is just like the cutest thing ever.
Cute.
I know.
love
It's like
She
her.
does
weird
have
French.
a really nice accent.
I know.
Yeah,
It makes
but-
me happy. I like to just like go over and talk to her and then just let her talk about whatever. I just don't even care. It's
Personally,
just,
I also
it's
think
just great.
the lesbian romance with her is going to be very fun.
Yeah.
Because,
It also makes the church thing better,
yeah.
just a little.
Even though the Chantry has nothing against that.
Yeah.
No, but like, okay, never mind.
Chantry doesn't care.
Yeah, Chantry's...
Chantry's
I
the
know.
only place
I'm
that cares.
Yeah. I'm thinking of real world analogs.
But
Yeah,
real world
okay, yeah.
analogs, that's interesting. And also, it's just because I love the conversation where she starts out with like, I love what you do with your hair. And that you can end up initiating the romance with her in that conversation if you're female.
But I gotta say, my favorite conversation to have with her is when you're playing as a guy and she starts talking about shoes, and then you start being like, I love shoes.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, so I'm excited for that. I'm also like, I started it mostly because I got really into this YouTube channel. I think it's Dirthalyn, I think. Which basically, I
Lainey
think...
trying to give a shout out, but can't remember the name.
But I'm pretty sure Dirthalyn, like, translates to dirt child, kind of. But she's great. She does lore on Dragon Age.
Is it
and
you?
Yes. She does lore on Dragon Age, and her channel is great, but listening to all of her videos made me want to replay Inquisition and re-romance Solus, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do, because I'm trash.
Is this the third time or the fourth?
Third.
Okay.
It's the third. It's not... Okay, it's definitely not the third of the games that I've started.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the third of the games that I've completed romancing Solus. What can I say? I love to have my heart broken into little pieces.
I know that I can't talk that much because I've only beaten it twice, and both times I've romanced Cullen. But
like, why?
Because he's really
He's
fun.
nice. He's fine. It's just
Anyway, okay.
boring.
Okay.
And not
Let's
sad
not get
enough.
into a whole thing about it.
Not sad enough for me. Okay, but yeah, that's where I'm at.
So, first question. If you were going to adapt your life into a video game, what genre would it be, Erin?
Oh gosh, you guys. This is really sad. Like, when I was a kid, I feel like I would have been like an RPG fantasy or like Halo. But now that I'm an adult and I've been screwed
Your
over by the
spirit has been
economy.
Your spirit has been crushed.
Yeah, I'm
Much like a flame being extinguished.
bitter, mean, and jaded, and been screwed over by the economy and unexpected healthcare bills. I would adapt my life into a builder like The Sims. So I could just build my dream home for somewhat cheap. Work would only take a few minutes. Food would take almost no time to prepare. Like, you just look in the fridge and you're like, I'm gonna eat this, and then you eat a meal, and it's fabulous.
Plus, you could level up to the point where you don't need to eat food anymore.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
true.
Or use cheats.
Yeah. Use cheats.
Motherload and bool prop testings cheats enabled true where you at.
And then just drop a satellite on anyone who annoys you.
But yeah, and having kids would be a cinch. Like, you just pop them right out.
Like Tic Tacs. This is another podcast we lovingly refer to children as human Tic Tacs.
Oh no.
No!
What, do you want me to call them shorties?
Yes. It makes me think of Liz Lemon.
Oh gosh, but yeah. Oh, plus I could make my body look as amazing as I wanted it to. Like, no exercise or diet necessary. Like, who doesn't have that dream? Like, let's be real.
I am better at sim life.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah, Lainey's way
Lainey's
worse.
way worse at sim life.
I'd get crushed by a satellite and I'd have to go talk to a therapist. Wait.
That's great.
Yeah. But I do know instant gratification isn't happiness or whatever, so I would, slow time down whenever I felt like it, or just go back to normal life and then pop back and forth. I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Nice.
So I want to say something fun, like a fantasy RPG or like a dating simulator, but
Dream Daddy.
like that one exactly.
No, magical boyfriend.
That's the dream. Dating
Multiple
pigeons.
But the thing is, I am a tax attorney who repeatedly fails to avoid being led to secondary locations, in spite of the fact that I know better. So the most exciting thing I could hope for is like a really tense, realistic survival horror. But more accurately, it would probably be like a puzzle game with really bad reviews. but like quite a loyal fan base. There's a few people who are like, well, I think it's fun, and everybody else is like, shut up. Jensen, what about you?
Well, I'd like to say that it's a grand RPG with interesting characters and lots of adventure and success. But I actually think it's more like the very beginning of an RPG where nothing interesting has happened yet, and a lot of your choices have been made for you by circumstance.
Your outfit is like the worst one in
Yeah,
the game.
your outfit is the crappy one that you're like, oh, I can't wait till I
Everybody
can
calls
change
you,
out of
like,
that.
Everybody calls you like farm boy.
Yeah, because you
and-
haven't chosen your name yet.
Right, and you're just like running around doing random
You might even
stuff.
still be the generic character who's got a helmet on so you can't see their
Yeah.
face.
And they're like, oh, you have to help me. My chickens are loose in the village.
Yeah, you're doing all kinds of dumb things
Or,
that
like,
you hate, like
some
at the
person's
beginning
like,
of Twilight Princess when you have to hurt all those sheep.
actually, I love the beginning of
Oh, I
Twilight Princess.
hate it so much.
It just
you have
feels
to do
so nice.
fishing mini games
You
and
belong!
hurting sheep. It's so boring.
Mulaney wants us to belong.
That's my life.
It's nice.
It's the
people
boring
there
part
are
of
nice.
an RPG.
The mayor likes you. There's that cute girl who's giving you googly eyes, and you got a horse.
Okay,
What more
that's
do
the difference.
want?
You know how a lot of times at the beginning of an RPG, you've got
It's
someone who's
like,
like a love interest who's gonna die, but like they're
or
there.
like you find out that they're pregnant or
Yeah.
something.
The beginning of my RPG doesn't have that. There's no love interest. I'm sad and just alone and in a dark corner and nothing interesting is happening.
Oh.
And I'm the generic character.
Yeah, but there's a love interest, just not in the beginning of the game.
No, and that's where my life perpetually is. As
Not-
soon as I finish it, it just starts over again.
Oh. So yours is torture.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like it's like the Dalish elf origin.
Oh,
Just,
but Tamlin's love interest.
but I always
But
forget to talk
Tamlin's
to him.
ridiculous. But I don't really like
And
Tamlin.
I always forget to talk to him. I always forget he's there. Anyway.
So, Lainey, what's your life like?
Okay, so knowing me, it would probably be something indie and weird, like a walking simulator, where you keep getting phone calls and you're ignoring them for no apparent reason, and you don't really know what is going on and you're crying, like, a lot. So, like,
This
not
sounds-
really Edith Finch, like something that's not nearly as deep, because you know me.
This sounds more like one of those sort of walking simulator horror games.
Yeah, kind of
like
existential.
Don't
and
Knock
weird.
Twice or Layers of Fear.
Yeah. Less layers of fear, because I'm not human skin canvas. That's not my life. But,
Are you sure? Because you talk about cannibalism a lot.
yeah, don't participate, Jensen.
That we know of.
I'm not going to announce on the podcast my dastardly secrets.
She'll wait till we stop recording.
But yeah, but like something weird and existential and like nothing like gory. But yeah, however, if this is me adapting the game, whatever I want, then I would want it to be a very 80s inspired side scroller where you're just going around to random locations like underwater volcano labs, just beating up bad guys with a crowbar with like awesome soundtrack too. So yeah,
Nice.
that's what I want.
Okay.
I know what I was born for, but I also know what I want.
So, what games do you have to mute, and what do you listen to instead, Aaron?
So I haven't really done that since the original Xbox days when I was playing that, fantastic Obi-Wan game.
The one that we weren't sure existed until you explained more.
Yeah.
I still don't know what this game is.
It was
I keep forgetting to look it up.
fantastic. It's basically you're Obi-Wan and you're playing through scenes that are somewhat
Somewhat similar
Somewhat
to
similar
what happens in the movie.
to the Phantom Menace, yeah. But anyway, I know when I watch someone play a Soulsborne game, and especially when they're fighting bosses, I get so stressed out. Like, it's some of the most stressful music I've ever heard in my life, you guys.
And it's a beautiful score, but it's so tense.
Yeah, it's so intense. And, never mind that you're already fighting a freaking insane boss, but, like, ugh, I'm getting
also
anxiety.
The choirs of hell
Yeah.
raining down on you.
Aaron's just like
Awesome.
thinking about the music. She's starting to like
It's
fidget.
giving me anxiety. Like, ugh, I hate it. Probably another reason I don't play Soulsborne games.
Yeah, I love Dark Souls, and I love the music in Dark Souls, but I do find that there's some boss battles where I have to mute it or else I can't focus. because it's a lot of tension.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some exceptions though. I remember when I did the Abyss Watchers battle, it helped to have it nice and loud so I could hear absolutely everything. And I don't know what the difference is, besides that I really liked that song, but it didn't feel like it was attacking me the way that some of the other music in those games does.
Like the music that plays when you're fighting Ornstein and Smog. I feel like
that music is trying to murder me.
Yeah, that music is trying to hunt me down and kill me.
Yeah, and so
it's a third enemy in that fight.
So if I've done like 4 or 5 runs and it seems like I'm not getting anywhere or like I'm having a hard time with it, sometimes it can help if I turn the volume way down or if I even mute it. And then the other times when I'll mute it is if I'm grinding, just because the sound mixing in those games kind of drives me crazy too.
The crunch of the
grass as you run over it, and
it's so loud. It's like
and Sekiro.
Like, what am I walking on? Little twigs and small animal bones? I don't know. This is a Soulsborne game, maybe.
And Sekiro has a similar thing where every single time you get a death blow, it does the death blow noise. And it is loud. And so like when I'm going through an area in Sekiro, like when I'm farming or whatever, a lot of the time I'll turn the volume way down and I'll turn up the music.
It just reminded me of I watched a Movie Nights video about the Howling series, and in Howling 5, every time someone died, they played this really dramatic music every single time. It was so stupid.
It's a little like that, except that like the noise is still effective.
Yeah.
And it's still a really good bit of sound design in certain situations.
Yeah.
And particularly in boss battles, like it makes those death blow moments just so satisfying. But when you're just grinding, like when you're just killing the same 3 rat assassins over and over and over again so you can get more sugar, it's just like it gets old.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of playlists that are tried and true. And recently I've been listening to a lot of Grimes, Salem, Purity Ring, Birthday Massacre. A lot of the stuff that was kind of on my like Rosenrot playlist. Because I've also been working on that book. So lots of Witch House.
Oh, sorry. I just remembered another one that I did back in the days of Xbox. So I think it was Grand Theft Auto. Was it San Andreas?
Oh,
I think, yeah. So in that game, you could either listen to like the game's radio, or you could put on your music that you had downloaded to your Xbox.
Oh, that's fun.
It was so cool.
That was really cool.
So I was like listening to, some of those classic 2000s hits, like Cake's Comfort Eagle album and some U2 and Good Charlotte, stuff like that.
Definitely a better choice, because one of the things that I feel like is a big difference between the Grand Theft Auto series and the Saints Row series, which they always get compared all the time because Saints Row is a bit like a ripoff of Grand Theft Auto that went in a weird direction.
But like way funner.
One of the biggest differences, though, through the whole series, even when it was very similar to Grand Theft Auto, is Saints Row has always had better music.
Way better.
Grand Theft Auto, I rarely ever listen to the radio, and I do often listen to other music while
Grand Theft Auto doesn't have Pepper by the Butthole Surfers, and so I will never respect the music choice of Grand Theft Auto, and you're laughing because I said butthole.
I forgot that was a band.
Yes, it's a real band. They really decided to call themselves that. I like to imagine that like 1 or 2 of them have moms that are just like,
I don't like that name. Why couldn't you have had a nice name?
Well, I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 5. There was only one song on all of the radio stations that I liked, and I don't even remember what song it was. I just remember it was by Fergie. And I was like, this song's okay. And every time that one would come out, and I'd be like, oh, I'd turn up the volume.
Yeah.
And I did one time drive full speed down the highway, weaving in and out of traffic while mouthing along to I Want It That Way by the Backstreet Boys. It was like 2 a.m.
But
I was exhausted.
In Saints Row, it's canon that you and other players will like be driving around in the car and will sing along to the songs on the radio, and it's great. What's the one that you sing with Pierce?
Just a Friend. Bismarcky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best.
And you also sing
the one
with
shoes on my feet. That one.
the one with Paul Abdul and the cat.
Oh yeah, that one. And then the
Opposites Attract,
find
yeah.
a reason, something. That one.
Isn't that
That's not
that one?
That's
No,
not
that
Bismarcky.
one's. I can't remember what that one is. I don't remember.
But that one. So like,
Yeah.
there's 3 songs that you sing along with.
And those are just
what
with your
I've
homies.
got.
Yes. And there's just
Yeah.
3 songs. Those are just 3 of like just a huge soundtrack of amazing
Yeah,
songs.
I'd like to
It's
point
like,
out
come on,
that
I'll
the
let you be the
Aquabats
cat.
exist in the
Yeah.
universe of
The
Saints Row.
Aquabats have a
Oh.
song in the first Saints Row game that
Yes.
plays, and it's awesome. It's which one is it?
Is it Hey Homies?
No.
Dang it.
It's a different one.
I just remember being.
But it's
That was my
amazing.
favorite one.
I think I remember being confused that it wasn't rickshaws.
I know. I keep wanting to ask Christian about that and be like, why didn't you guys like
Why didn't you do rickshaws?
Wait, or no. Yeah, it should have been rickshaws, but like, how come it was only the first game? Like, why
Yeah.
wasn't there more music in the second?
Well, and
the
I don't
third, and the
remember.
fourth? Like,
I don't remember what song it was, but I know it's a song that I liked. But I do remember thinking there are more appropriate Aquabat songs for this
yeah,
universe.
well, rickshaws, but like,
Yeah.
there could have been a lot of them, but I keep forgetting to ask him about that.
I like didn't even register that the Aquabats was like a thing that Christian was in. Like, I thought that they were separate. I didn't know Christian was in the Aquabats when I was growing up. And then I got older and I realized that he was the lead singer and that they'd met Gerard Way. Like,
Well,
they met him.
Well, Lainey, the thing is that they've been around and they were relevant, years and years before you were born. My
Yeah,
child.
but they were relevant when I was older too.
Yeah.
Relevant.
but you know what I mean? Like, you always just took it for granted that it's like, that's Christian.
Yeah,
That's our cousin.
it's just
Christian.
weird.
Or cousin-in-law, cousin.
Because it, like, never
Cousin.
registered until much later, and then I was like, what?
Cousin-in-laws are cousins too.
They're cousins.
That's true.
By marriage.
Megan,
Like Red Dead.
there was that time when Dad claimed that Megan was his other child that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
At the family reunion to keep everybody from
He's
asking
ours.
weird
She's
questions.
She's ours.
So we were with our very, very conservative Idaho family at an Idaho reunion, and Becca had brought her new wife, Megan. And everybody just kept pointing to Megan and being like, "Who does she belong to?"
And Dad just went, "She's ours."
She's ours.
It was like,
Stars.
Dad was like, I am the only blonde one in the vicinity. Okay, Megan, you're ours.
It was so eye rolly.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, we all just kind of exchanged looks, like, just wander in the wilderness for 40 years until all these people are dead.
Oh my goodness, Elsa.
What the heck?
I think Dad even said that at one point.
Probably, knowing him.
Oh man. Well, that was quite the tangent.
Okay.
This is not Tangent the podcast. We can't name a second episode.
I'll get us back on
Tangent the
track.
podcast.
Yeah, Elsa.
So the other game that has great music, the thing is, a lot of these video games have really good music, but they get repetitive, like Devil May Cry. For example, the song starts over basically every time you initiate a battle.
Yeah.
Which in the Bloody Palace especially, it's like, so you kind of just have to put on a playlist for that one.
Yeah.
I do feel like Devil Trigger has gotten old, and I haven't even played that game very
It's a
much.
great song,
I
but
love
I've
that
listened to
song.
the first 30 seconds a lot.
Yeah.
But like, for example, Inside has really good music, but it's subtle. Like, one of the things about that game that makes it unique is there's no like text, there's no dialogue, there's no storytelling in any sort of traditional language way. It's all just visual, and then it's got very good sound mixing, and it's pretty spare with its use of sound. Like, you hear the dogs barking when they're chasing you down, and your little kid, his breathing gets faster when he's scared. But the moments, it makes the moments when there is music so much more effective. So like, that's an example of a game that's like the total opposite, where I turned the volume up as loud as I could go and tried to really focus on what was going on.
And not to be that person in the podcast, but that doesn't really bring us back to where we were with Jensen.
Well, she was finishing her thought. I hadn't really started my thought yet. I was just building off of it because Grand Theft Auto was
I'm not
relevant.
paying attention.
Yes,
Yeah.
you were not paying attention. Anyway, Jensen, what's your answer?
Yeah.
If you checked the notes, you would know, Lane.
Yeah, were you talking?
This is why we have notes.
I was looking through the notes. My phone's at 12%. I'm using it conservatively.
Okay. So for me, it would
Karen
definitely.
invokes the safe word. Go ahead, Jensen.
Please don't call it that.
You'll notice I didn't call it that in front of the nephew.
Yeah, I like had to stop myself.
I like it
I was like,
better
"Ah."
being referred to as the safe word.
I was like, that's kind of like a safe word. And then I was like, wait, there's like an 11-year-old here.
I know. I kept
Ah.
having to try and catch myself. I did mention sexy times while we were talking about redemption. And I was like,
man,
wait,
I really hope
there's children here.
It was the nephew who suggested you pay for the girl.
That's
I know.
I was just like, I really hope they're just really into their Switch games right now because
Oh man. Okay. So I think the main one for me.
wait.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, but if you knew there wasn't sexy times with the girl in the tub, then how did you?
Because I paid for it.
I paid to not get sexy time. Dang it.
I was
50 cents to
I
do
was
it?
curious. I was curious. It was like, do you want the girl to come in and help you? And I was like, what's she gonna do? Just like,
No,
what kind of helping is this?
you were like, what's she gonna do?
Only a little, but mostly I was just like, okay, what is this gonna entail? And so I like was like, sure. And then she literally just like sat there washing my arm, and I was like, I can do this myself. What are you doing?
Arm. Like, at least wash my hair, woman.
I mean, yeah, I'm like, maybe go for the back. I can't reach that so well. I had a dead animal on my shoulder. There's blood all over me. You know?
Oh my gosh. Jensen, you're wonderful. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, I think for me, mine would definitely be Fallout, because I love those games and I love the music in them. But there are only so many times that I can listen to Bongo Bongo Bongo, I don't want to leave the Congo, na 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 na, before my brain starts leaking out my ears.
Single bango bongo, I was happy in the Congo, I refuse to go.
Seriously.
Also, that song's very racist.
Yeah. It's like super offensive. But like I love those songs kind of because they're fun to sing along with, and you learn all the words by the time
Yeah.
you're like done playing, you know?
Even the ones you hate.
Yeah.
60-Minute
Oh,
Man.
I immediately
69.
thought of Rocket 69. But because I've listened to them so much and I just can't do it anymore. So I generally will like watch a show while I'm playing it. And a lot of times I'll watch like Portlandia or Stranger Things, or to my shame, Family Guy. But then I recently, like when I played Assassin's Creed Origins, towards the end, it was like right before Odyssey came out, like literally 3 days before Odyssey came out, I was still trying to beat Origins, and I wanted to beat it in time to be able to play Odyssey right away. And so I just like turned on the subtitles, turned on music, and just tried to get through it as quick as possible. And I have very fond memories of clearing out a fort while listening to Macy Gray's I Try. And so that was probably my favorite experience, listening to music while playing a game. That, and I once did that with Mass Effect 3. That was really fun. But I don't have a specific song.
Well,
for that
Battle
one.
Scars played in the mission with Jacob, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
romanced him in the
I
second
had romanced him, and then in the third one, he dumped me for that other girl, and I still had to save him and his girlfriend, and Battle Scars was playing while we were fighting off Cerberus, and it was really dramatic and really cool.
one. Yeah,
It just made the moment so much better.
for Jacob being the blandest love interest in the second game, he does make
Well,
quite a fair bit of drama in
yeah.
the third.
I had planned out that playthrough just perfectly. Like every choice, I knew what I was going to make before I made it, so that I could just have like the most dramatic and like craziest storyline for that character, and it was so cool. And then when Battle Scars played during that part, it was just like, yes, this has worked out so perfectly. Oh, it was a great moment. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Well, what are sisters for besides to
To annoy me?
annoy you? So for my example, I'd have to say The Sims. Not because the music is bad. I generally think that the music in the Sims games is pretty calming. Occasionally it gets monotonous and stuff like that, but it's mostly just the sounds of the Sims. Like your Sims talking and the baby screaming and the television on and your Sim peeing themselves and then shouting "Garble Flume Mahana" to the heavens. Like I'm supposed to be their all-knowing deity that can help them, but like, man, I don't know what I'm doing.
Also, don't forget listening to Katy Perry singing her songs in Simlish.
In Simlish.
Oh, no.
Yes.
You can find video of that.
Well, yeah.
You can find video of them recording her singing in Simlish, and
Simlish.
it's hilarious.
Yeah, no,
Oh my
they have
gosh.
tons of songs in The Sims, specifically the fourth one, that, like, are actual songs that we have. The one that I'm thinking of is Welcome to Your Life by Group Love.
Yeah.
Where it's done in Simlish.
Sometimes when I listen to that song, I hear the Simlish instead of the real words. It's
Because
a
it
problem.
just played so much.
That's too much.
Yeah, it plays a lot.
That's too much.
If you forget that your radio is just on constantly, which I do frequently when I play The Sims, then that song comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like one of the only ones you've chosen to play,
Well,
because it's one of the only ones that isn't stupid.
I also always put it on the indie station, and it's like one of the
Yeah.
only songs on the indie station.
There's like 3 songs in the indie
Yeah.
station.
So, I've been listening to a lot of Witch House, like Elsa, because we've been bonding over the fact that we both like Witch House. But I did go back to listening to Melanie Martinez, phase from my teenagehood, still in my teenagehood, guess. But because she is coming out with a new album and a film, which it's gonna be super weird. But generally when I play games and I don't really need to like pay attention to it, I'll watch a show like Jensen does. And recently I've been watching New Girl and Sailor Moon. I'm almost done with the first season of Sailor Moon. And let me tell you, that's like 47 episodes. And most of them are the exact same thing over and over and over
Yeah,
again.
it's very Monster of the
That's
Week.
why I'm watching Crystal.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, it's like, you can't use girls' good intentions against them. It's unforgivable. And now, in the name of the moon, I'll punish you.
Every episode.
She did the hand movements too.
She did. She nailed
I
it.
can't just not
It's
do
not a
hand
visual
movements,
medium.
Jensen.
It's not a visual
Podcasting
medium,
is
so I
not
felt
a
like
visual medium.
I should inform the listeners.
I think that's the episode
I'll
title.
punish you.
Podcast is not a visual medium. And so what not video game thing are you obsessed with right now?
Oh boy. So there's a Netflix original series called Good Morning Call, and it's a live action Japanese drama.
I knew that one. I had it
It's a
on my
what?
list for so long.
It's a live action Japanese drama. It's these two.
It's like Meteor Garden. It's exactly like Meteor Garden, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't seen that one.
That one's ridiculous.
It's on my
too.
list.
You have seen one scene from Meteor Garden because of
Oh,
two-step violin.
Oh, I don't think I'll be watching that then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to say, the character who does the violin is not interesting.
He seems like the most boring
He's
human
so
being
boring.
on the earth.
But for some weird reason, the main character is always pining after him, and I'm like, what about this one kid who's like, he's like, okay, I guess he wants to date you, and these other guys who are really attractive, and they're not horrible at all.
I think Lainey just betrayed that she secretly watches all of and loves Meteor Garden.
She just hangs her head in shame.
Dang it. I can't fight you on that one.
But
So,
yeah.
Good Morning Call.
So it's about a high school boy and girl, and they are victims of a property scam or something. And so they end up having to live with each other due to other extenuating circumstances.
Oh, I've seen ads for this.
Yeah, like because I was really
I
curious
did
because he's the
Think about watching it.
yeah.
No less than 4 times.
Yeah, you guys sit there on your ivory towers thinking you're better than me. But no,
every time
I'm the one in my real ivory tower because I'm the one who's free!
so every time I decided not to watch it when I remembered that it's a TV show, not a movie.
Oh.
And we are better than you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But-
I'll
You
stop
gotta
cutting
be
you off.
there.
No, it's good. It's good. It's like the cliche love interest. Like he's in the top 3 most handsome boys in high school, and she's just like kind of, you know, not really a nobody, but she's clumsy and
She
shy.
likes science!
And he like they hate each other at first, and you know, I love romances like that where they hate each other or one hates the other. And grudgingly is like, oh crap, I like this person.
Gotta love a rival man.
But I
Rival
just
mans.
watched so many episodes that by the time I thought, this is dumb, I don't want to watch this, it was too late. And I'm like, well, great, now I have to finish it. But yeah, so
Nice.
there's that. I'm almost done with the 2nd season, which is all there is. And then there's a YouTube couple I found.
Oh yeah, you
their
were sending us
names.
some
They're so cute, Rachel and Jude. She's an American and he's Japanese, and they met. She went to study abroad in Japan. They met and fell in love and got married, and like they sit down and tell their story, and it made me squeeze so hard. I was like,
It was very cute.
yeah.
I so much.
It-
It's making me tear
like, I made Zach watch that video because I was like trying to tell him. I was like, their love story is like a TV show. It should be a TV show. And I was like trying to explain how they met and everything. I was like, you know what? Just watch it. Poor Zach just had to sit there for 20 minutes and watch this video he probably didn't care about. But yeah, I'm obsessed with them. They're adorable.
So I saw a little film from an up-and-coming director. Probably haven't heard of him. His name is Quentin Tarantino.
You probably haven't heard of it.
Did you see my incredulous look there before you said that?
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
No, so I saw Once
Didn't
Upon
realize
a
she
Time.
was being silly. Making a joke.
So I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I think it might be my favorite movie that he's done. I think it's one that a lot of Tarantino fans, I haven't looked at reviews or anything, but my sense from it is that a lot of people who like his films are probably not gonna like this one much. I think it's gonna get a lot of slack from
Flack?
whatever.
Slack is what, you know, when you cut some slack.
Slack is like the opposite
You
of
know,
flack.
flack.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I was like, no, you're not arguing with us, Elsa. We're right.
Like,
I didn't argue.
You tried.
like slap.
You full on try.
I can reaction. Maybe I
Elsa
was right.
like, you
I can
wrong.
see the cogs working in her brain where she's like, how can I argue that I'm right about this?
Elsa's like, yes, but actually no.
Whatever, you're right. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really liked it. I feel like this would be a really exciting time to be a film student because you could write yourself a couple of real interesting papers using this film. On such topics as movies that are about movies.
The best kind.
And you could even do a little bit of stuff with auteur because I really feel like this film's really enjoyable in spite of the fact that that Tarantino does betray a lot of his ego. It doesn't matter; it's still charming.
Well, we know it's there.
Yeah, it manages to be really entertaining anyway. It's also the kind of film that like you could talk about celebrity theory because it doesn't really work if it doesn't have really well-known actors in the roles just because of certain kind of meta things going on. And also there's a lot about violence and about like audience relationship to violence and when it's okay to enjoy violence and whether it's ever really okay to enjoy violence or if it's always the same, even if there's like a moral support behind it, you're still when it comes down to it, you're still enjoying that a person's burning to death. And like and that's horrible. And like, there's a lot to unpack about the way he chose to end it too. And I haven't really seen anybody talking about it too much yet because I think it just hasn't been out for long enough. But like by the time we post this, I'm sure there'll be like 60 million video essays and ending explained, and like
Oh,
that.
I hate those
I know,
videos.
they're awful. They're so dumb.
Stop explaining the ending to people. If people can't figure out the ending, then
They don't deserve
just
to
let
know.
them try.
Like, yeah.
Like probably they do know what
they
it
probably
is.
understand it, but they're just like, they're not willing to like think about it
Well,
long enough to realize that they understand the
And
ending.
personally, I mean, maybe I only feel this way because I ascribe to the death of an author philosophy, but if the film makes you feel one way, it doesn't matter if it made another person feel or think a different way.
I think that's what bothers me more than anything else is that those ending explained videos are always like, this is what it
Yeah,
is.
I
where
know.
it's like,
It's
it's
like it's
not.
just one person's
It
opinion
Or
about
doesn't
the
allow.
ending.
It
It's
doesn't allow for
completely
anybody else's
subjective.
Yeah.
takeaway.
My
or-
takeaway from one movie is not going to be the exact takeaway that another person has from that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Well, and with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I had a very specific takeaway about the ending, and I think I'm right, and I wouldn't mind presenting my theory in like an analytical kind of way, but I'm definitely going to have that caveat that like this is my takeaway.
Right.
I don't know if this was what he intended. I don't know if this is any more or less valid than any other theories people have about it, but like I definitely got a very, very strong impression that I understood what the message was and what was trying to be done in that film. And I thought it was interesting and effective and all kinds of good things. And yeah, I really liked it. I have kind of had a hard time like not thinking about it for this ever since I saw it. And yeah, movies about movies.
Cool. Well, my thing is my phone. I just got a new phone and I love it so much. We're going to get married. We're
When's the
planning.
wedding?
We're planning it for November.
Oh, a fall wedding.
Yeah, fall
That's kind
wedding.
of different.
Yeah, not quite a winter wedding, but not really a summer wedding because I don't want it to happen around all my friends. This is a weird tangent.
Can I be a bridesmaid?
No, but that's really smart because
Yeah.
like you want to do it after the summer's over and everything's kind of settled down, but before everybody starts getting busy with holiday stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's taking my last name.
Dude,
Sorry.
No,
I totally want an October wedding. Give me those Halloween
that'd be
decorations.
so cool. You don't want to wear a wedding dress in the summer.
Yeah.
Like my
no.
sister and I did like a quote unquote photo shoot in our wedding dresses, and it
Yeah.
was summer, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I got married in December.
Plus,
There's
if
no
you do
way.
a winter wedding, then you can have like a first stole, and that's really neat.
Oh, that's
You
fun.
can feel like
Yeah.
a fancy lady.
You looked like a very fancy winter princess.
You look like
You
a
did.
princess.
Thank you.
Erin's,
Should be right there.
Erin's wedding dress is very fancy, and she had fancy furs.
A ball gown with fancy
That
furs.
was, my mom made the stole, the fur stole.
Yeah.
Which is just so neat.
Yeah.
Ooh, and I remember the train on that dress. Yeah, that was amazing.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Thank you.
I humored Lainey. And it was
Sorry.
wild.
That's what happens every time you humor me.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got the well, it's actually not really new anymore. It's new to me. The Razer phone 2. Elsa got it for me. I have to pay her back. This isn't a present. The present is that I get to pay her back, but I get
Adult
the phone
life.
now. So,
When you
Worth
get to
it.
pay them back for the thing they bought you.
yes, but it means I get it now instead of
Right.
having to wait for like months and months. So, I love it and it's amazing. It's a fancy gaming phone and it's probably the nicest thing I've ever had. And so yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And then I do have another thing though. I've been trying to watch movies for How Did This Get Made, and I've finally decided, after years of thinking about watching it, decided to watch Sleepaway Camp. And I watched it with Elsa and Lainey, and Elsa and I both knew the twist at the end, and Lainey didn't. And we'll try not to spoil it, but we'll just say Lainey's reaction to the twist was the most amazing thing.
It was so wild.
She just like started screaming at the TV and was just like, "What? What? Are you what the hell?"
And I specifically remember just being like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I feel like you
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
screamed an expletive at the TV, like just a sustained expletive at one point too.
It was like the, guess that Pokemon!
Yeah.
It's Pikachu! It's Clefairy! Fuck!
That was Lainey.
Yeah, she would just.
So
She's
we're not gonna,
furious.
So we're not gonna spoil it. I mean, it came out like what,
Yeah.
82 or
But
something.
the twist is just
But the twist
so
is so bananas.
insane. It's
I'm
bananas.
so
It's
angry.
bananas and it's executed bananasly.
Yeah.
And if you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, watch Sleepaway Camp.
My
Don't
favorite,
do it.
My favorite
It's-
thing
it's
about
insane.
the end. My favorite thing about the twist at the end. We can't get into spoilers because
No,
people
no.
should just watch it.
You should
But
watch
like
it.
but the thing about the twist at the end is that like putting myself in that situation, there's two shocking things in that scene.
Yeah.
And one of them, just by virtue of severity, should be more shocking than the other.
But it's not.
But it isn't because
So
of the way
it's funny.
everything's set up.
It
and it's-
almost
yeah.
feels like a commentary on society, but then the rest of the movie is just so bad.
It is a dumb movie. There's so many things where I'm just like, why is this happening? And like, I was just so confused, and there were so many.
Oh my gosh.
So many
the opening scene.
The one guy got killed by bees, and then he fell on the ground. It was clearly like a different kid. Like he was blonde, and then he was dead, and he looked like he had been stung by bees for like weeks on end.
Yeah.
And his hair
Or the
was brown,
Tracker Jacker.
and it was like.
There's like
Did the
12
bees change his
bees
hair?
coming out of that beehive.
I know.
When they first show
And
it.
then he's like
Covered in them.
covered in welts and like.
And then there's the one like mean girl who has absolutely no
Yes.
torso, and she has the face of a 30-year-old woman, but she's playing like a 13-year-old girl.
She apparently lives, and she comes back in one of the sequels.
Oh my God.
Or they
Oh
might
my
have
goodness.
they might have released like a epilogue thing just about her, but she lived.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, she did live.
Yeah, and like
She
but, like,
lived.
yeah, and then
Wait,
there's
I
the
just
girl.
remembered how they
Yeah.
like implied
Yeah.
that she died. Ooh.
But then there's the other girl who gets stabbed through the shower, and for some reason like leans back into the knife so it can slice her all the way down, and it's like, just move away.
We're like, and we're not even gonna talk about the fact that she was like about to go on a date with a 70-year-old
I
man.
This movie is just, it's bananas.
It's bonkers.
And I really recommend that people watch it
I don't.
because it is just, it's so weird. I watched it specifically so that I could listen to the How Did This Get Made episode of it because
You know what? No.
I had heard so many people say it was one of their best episodes, and it was pretty
They
great.
have
But it was like, it was especially great having watched the movie.
You've gotta watch the movie just for the twist.
Yeah.
But that's it.
But you can't just like skip and watch
But,
the
like, you
last 10
can't. You
minutes
have
because
to
you need the
experience
lead up
all
of
of
the
it.
movie. It's like the twist would not be as crazy
Yeah.
and just wild without watching the movie.
You gotta watch
beforehand.
the entire movie. Like, just settle in with some friends, eat some Cheetos, drink some Mountain Dew, make fun of it the entire time, and you will have a great time.
Yes. Anyway, I think we've talked about Sleepaway
Filter
Camp
in there is so
quite
amazing.
enough.
So Lainey.
All right, so I found out in the year of our Lord 2019 that you can download books from the library onto your laptop. So I don't even have to go out in public.
Wait, really?
Lady's like,
Yes!
I never need to leave the house
I
again.
don't need to leave the house to get books.
Are you guys just not gonna tell me this?
She's telling you now.
But you two don't look surprised.
She told me this morning.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Yeah, so like
I've known for a few
that's been my
years.
Aaron.
Sorry, I thought everyone knew.
No. Okay, the thing is that it's like my generation that's like, you're supposed to be like savants with technology. And I'm the one who's like, I cannot use an iPhone to save my life. I did not know that you could download library books onto your laptop and read them.
And you still ask me for help anytime there's any problem with anything electronic.
Yeah. It's because I'm lazy. But
Such is my life.
because of this, I've been reading a lot more. And right now I'm currently obsessed with the Grisha trilogy. I can't tell if I like it or if I don't like it. I have a lot of extreme feelings on it. But the biggest thing I can say about it is that it has one of the most heinous examples of the childhood sweetheart trope gone wrong. And that, why does the love interest of the childhood sweetheart trope always have to be the most wonder-bred guy? Oh my gosh. I don't
It worked
understand.
for Ned Nickerson, but not anyone
Ned Nickerson
else.
is the only one. The only one. Like, there's like a couple good examples, like Ned Nickerson, and like I always liked Anne and Gilbert from Anne of Green
that's
Gables.
cute.
But I feel like in those situations they're a lot older. And there's the Westermark effect that I always felt like made it kind of incestuous and weird if they like knew each other before the age of 6. And they like grew up together. If they like knew each other as acquaintances, whatever. But if they like grew up together from the age of 6, it's weird. And this is one of those situations in that book where they're like, we're basically brother and sister. But like, now they're trying to sell this grody romance to me, and it's just boring. And oh my goodness, I hate it. But there are other things.
Obsessed with these books.
But the other thing is that I do like the books. Like, it's got a really cool hard magic system, and I like some of the characters. I really like the duology that's in the same universe. The Six of Crows duology is great. That one has a lot of likable characters, and it doesn't have those
Duality?
Duology.
Oh.
You don't mean duality.
No,
duology
trilogy.
is a series of 2 books.
Duology.
Oh,
my bad.
Jensen, come
I
on.
thought you were just saying the wrong word. I'm not alone. Aaron thought so too. I love how Aaron thinks the same thing as me, but Lainey's like, Jensen.
I'm like, no, Erin is a sweetheart, and we're glad to have her here.
Erin is the actual princess, so I guess she's forgiven of all sins.
But yeah, I just kind of want to read the entire universe so that I can get caught up with everything and I can be up to date with the booktube community, because I haven't been for a while. So that's basically what I've been obsessed with, and I could talk about this for eons, but I won't. All I just want to say is that the sweetheart trope is dumb and I hate it, and I want it to die a fiery death because it's been used too many times.
So, what are you looking forward to playing next, Aaron?
Okay, so like I said, I'm trying to plow through Red Dead Redemption 2 as fast as possible, but with how massive that game is, it's not going to happen, but at least I'm giving it the old college try, and I'll have a lot of it, hopefully a lot, done by the time Control and Man of Medan come out this August. And also, I really want to play Observation at some point. It looks really intriguing and just like spooky and I don't know, really cool concept that, I know it's been out for a while, but yeah, it's on my list.
Not Observer?
Observation.
Then I don't know it.
It's really cool.
You play as a ship's AI and you're trying to guide this lone survivor through the ship.
Interesting.
You're like a HAL 9000 perspective the whole time, like you're behind the screen.
That's cool.
Looking through the different.
Can you lock the
Can you
pod
dream?
bay doors?
I think you can.
I love that we both made. I was like, can you dream?
Can you lock the pod bay doors? And my thing is that I really need to finish Until Dawn.
Yeah, you do.
So we can finally talk about it.
I need to get to the point where I care again, because like I was enjoying the game and I was having a good time, but then I got to a point where it was like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to play it for a couple weeks because of these things that are going on, and then it came time that I like had time again, and I didn't care anymore. So
I might suggest starting it over. It does only take 10 hours.
I know, yeah. I was pretty close to the end though, and I'd so far managed to save everybody.
Okay, well, I guess that...
Did you get the Wolfie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well then,
Keep the Wolf.
just plow through.
Okay.
maybe watch like the first little bit of Markiplier's videos just to kind of catch yourself
Remember
up.
what's going on.
Yeah, and then go in at whatever.
That's
point
actually
you're
not a bad idea. Maybe I should do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jensen.
So I am restarting Batman Arkham Asylum. My PlayStation 3 had a problem a couple years ago and wiped all of my save data. And so I lost all my progress in that. And I haven't really wanted to go back to it because I was really annoyed about losing that progress. But I'm finally ready to go back. So I'm doing that. I started it last night. And then I also really want to play Fable again. But I want to get achievements for it. So I'm borrowing Erin's copy of Fable Anniversary. Thank you, Erin.
You're welcome.
Lainey, it's your turn.
I have committed myself. I'm saying it as if I'm committing myself to an asylum.
Zach comes over and puts a straight jacket on her and just carries her away.
Wouldn't have been the first time. But I promise I will play Assassin's Creed 3. But I think it's pretty obvious to tell from my previous answers that I'm very excited to keep playing Dragon Age and making the exact same decisions that I always make. Because the only different decision I'm making different decisions in this one, because I'm saving Logain for the first time ever. He's gonna live. What a jerk. But the second one, I'm going to romance Fenris as a man. So that's new. And then nothing different for the third one.
Nope, we're gonna do everything the same. Are you even gonna play it on a harder difficulty?
I'm gonna play it on a harder difficulty.
Okay, good,
I'm
'cause
gonna play
I'm
it on a
gonna-
harder difficulty.
I'm gonna play it on the hardest difficulty.
I
don't know
care.
if you're planning to
I
do
do.
that. I care, I do. Josie the Pussycats. It's like the most obscure quote from that movie, but it's like my favorite. But I'm gonna play it on the hardest difficulty, and so
Hardest?
yeah, for the achievement,
Okay.
because I want to get all the achievements.
Whatever.
I guess you're not gonna do it with me. I'm fine.
Okay, fine. I'll play it on the hardest difficulty.
Yay!
You'll just have to listen to me rage quit from the other room over and over and over
It's
again.
fine. I'll just shut my doors.
It's your price to pay.
All right.
That was episode 14, everybody.
Oh boy.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we are the princesses, and we don't have a theme song
But I was just gonna try and make one up in a moment.
This has been Princess in Another Podcast.
Bye.
Your princess isn't
No,
in this
it's fine.
podcast.
She's in another podcast.
She's in another podcast.
I feel like until we know what we're gonna say every time,
Awkwardly like,
we should just
she's not here?
not say it.
She is
We
in.
need to write it down.
What? No, that's it. That's it.
Wait. Was Erin saying it right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Say it
She's
again.
in another podcast.
Oh,
Erin just said she's not here.
Your
but that's
princess
good.
isn't here. Yeah, I basically said the same thing Lainey did. Your
Well, what-
princess is not here. She's in another podcast.